pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, it is public comment time, and if you have a public comment, we'd ask you to come to the podium, state your name, and we have a light agenda, so we probably could go 5.5 minutes, but we'd ask you to hold it to 5 minutes, please. Okay?
I wasn't on the agenda for this, so I'll just do it during public comment, but most of you are probably already aware, we did receive notification that the first set of district maps were not passed by the Senate. And so now that will go back and they'll have until October 21st for a second set of plans. So that does not allow cities and counties to begin the redistricting process until that is done. So until those state maps are done. So we're still in the waiting game on those. So I just want to let you guys all know about that. So in case you haven't heard, so.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
What happens is because if they reject it on the 21st, does it go to the court then for resolution, you know?
You know, I'm not 100% certain how that all works. I'm just hoping on the 21st we have something, because in the past, you know, we still have the shorter time frame than on the city and county side. So we're just hoping the next step will go through. So then the counties, the cities, because then we have to wait for the cities, and then, you know, then the county can do their portion. So, but it just continues to narrow that window, you know, shorter and shorter. So.
All right.
So I just wanted to let you guys know. Thanks.
Any other public comment? Ed, go ahead.
First of all, thank you for that road, the rock pit. Mr. Brady, I let it really quite a bit. The new one is nice and wide, excellent. So much safer.
They like to hear us on the radio too.
The only other thing is to narrow it up from J55 to rock pit. Those of us with big machinery, it is even to the 10 wheeler. It's very, very narrow.
Okay.
I know they just did it, and hopefully they're going to widen it out a few more feet. You know, we've got, my combine's 15 feet wide without the head. Wheels and everything, even with the 10 wheels and semis. Because it's just such a lip. I don't know. You can see a few places where it's crowded, and I did it a couple times thinking it's empty. But that was the main thing.
So where exactly redefines
this
the JDs in the room?
Yep, well, it's just from J55 up to the rock pit.
Up to the rock pit.
They redid it, and it is so narrow. And, there's just nowhere to go. It's such a slope off of it. That you go off that lip.
Okay.
It's JD about it. I just heard this morning. I just wanted to. I didn't know what this other connection was, and that's the other reason I stopped by. Another thing I mentioned, I think I mentioned it to one of the deputies. You know, these darkened windows on these pickups, you can't see who's in these things out in the country. I mean, I don't see how they see through them at night. I had to take it off of mine because you couldn't see it through the mirrors back up to anything. And these are darker than mine. And I think we need to kind of get after that.
Okay.
Because I know the state of Iowa. I actually got stopped at home with my pickup a year or so ago. I hadn't had it too terribly long. I didn't like it because they put it on before I bought it. And I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it really bothered me. I didn't drive that pickup that much at night. And these are darker than mine.
Okay.
And absolutely at night, you can't see hardly anything happening. It is very, and as I told the deputy, I hate for you guys to be walking up to something you can't see into.
Yeah.
And I wish they'd kind of, I know the Iowa ordinance doesn't allow it, and it's something I think we need to get at.
You know, Lyle was going to be here today, but he hasn't actually been working. I know that I've heard deputies talk about how they watch for that. So it's probably just a reminder to.
Yeah, just, it's, you know, we're out here in the country, we like to see what's out here.
Sure,
So
yeah.
some of them don't really care to have it out. So, okay, that was my concern, and I didn't know what this full connection is. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Any other public comment? All right, hearing none, we would move into JD's report. JD, please.
See, JD got dressed up for us today.
He did.
Yeah.
No vest. I
No
guess he's
vest.
gonna be going to the meeting.
That's something to talk about.
Yeah, nice time.
Nice time.
Sure was on sale for $16.
Good deal, yeah.
Morning, J.D. King, Page County Engineer. It's a fine day in Page County. We have blades out in the district. Taking advantage of the moisture came, and it sounds like we're gonna get some more this evening. More, that'll help our blade guys shape up, bring some rock back from the edges into the center, and hopefully get that tied back down. Hollow rock. Had one more running down on the, they could pour down south on the second pass and off the shoulder. We are not cutting fence line to fence line this year with that one. Got crew out, still cutting trees. Select areas of the bridge on P Avenue. Which you should have, I think there were some photographs included in the engineer update email to you. The bridge is removed there. We're waiting on a second large pipe to come in for that bridge replacement. We took the material, the deck and the stringer plank, the deck plank and the stringers, took salvage there at Red Oak at the auction. Thank you, Corey. That's what it looked like, partly disassembled. And one of the reasons we didn't fix the bridge was this hole off the northern abutment. The caps were crushed between the stringers and the pipe. That was the main problem with this. We're gonna move on to placing some riprap at various locations around the county. I've heard the southwest part of the county discussed. We're out of oil for our spray patcher. Cleaned it up last week, we're running out of season. Warmth, and it doesn't work well in the cold. Motor graders were in the shop yesterday, number 8, number 4 left today. All was down at the shop. They were in for service and back out on the roads. Tandem number 35 came off the lift yesterday, and 30 is going in there next. There's some circle maintenance to be done on a couple of our motor graders. One's, I think, just needs some adjustment. The other one needs shims on the circle. I've got some training opportunities for the men coming up. There's a winter maintenance workshop in November. So we're going to send some of our newer snowplow operators to that. This is not an operator necessarily, but this is the bigger picture winter maintenance things, and some of my superintendents will also attend that. And then in similar fashion, we have a roadway safety workshop coming up next week. It's a multidisciplinary. There'll be folks from the planners. I'm hoping to get one of the lives deputies to come along with us. I've got some new guys. Once again, this is an overview of road safety from the bigger picture, not just flag or trading, how to behave out there, but this will give some of our new guys a big picture of safety things for roads. Randy's closing out the base stabilization and seal coat project, or auto seal project. It's an FM job. It's not the review of the auto requirements are not burdensome. Got a little bit more of crack sealing and crack cleaning and reseal on PC pavement south of Coin. Down to Blanchard, project development goes on like normal. Our office manager Lisa attended the ICEOO, Iowa County Engineers Office Organization conference last week. She is also the District 4 rep to the board there, and that's a good thing for Page County of Iowa. I have a meeting on Friday at Ames. I'd like to read an email from the office of local, or the director of local systems. This is from Nicole Moore, the Director of Local Systems Bureau, CHBP, so Competitive Highway Bridge Program recipients. Page County is one of those. This is the bridge on J20 that we did this spring. I wanted to send a note saying thank you and congratulations regarding the Competitive Highway Bridge Program projects. Here's what we accomplished. $33,442,000 in CHBP funds, which was the largest award from the feds to any state in the country. We built 77 bridges, 5 city bridges, 68 county bridges, 4 DOT bridges. So it was a collaborative effort at all levels, state, city, and county. On application, we're playing well together. There's 30 bundles. That bundle was a contractor, multiple bridges in a bundle. We're bundled with Fremont County now. From my standpoint, that's not a great thing, or it turned out not to be a great thing, but that was the way it was coached. That was part of the program. 50 different agencies, 4 cities, 45 counties had 68 bridges in the DOT. That's Nicole again. You should be proud of yourselves, your staff, and any consultants you may have had work on your CHP bridge projects. You have represented Iowa well. This is one of the many examples as to why other states look to Iowa to see what it truly means to build relationship, trust, and partnership over many years. I really think a lot of people thought we were crazy when we said we were going to put 77 bridges across 50 agencies into one grant application and getting them to letting before 3 years. We did this. Anyway, everyone, job well done. This goes to show how well we all work together in Iowa. That's from Director of Local Systems to us. Share. Any questions for the engineer's update before we get to the farm to market modification things?
One thing is I'm cutting brush, and I've asked this before, so I'll make sure, that are they treating every stump they cut with Tordon?
Yeah, we should be.
They're painting them.
Of course, it works better when it's not freezing.
Yeah, well, in the fall, it'll take it down,
Right.
so it
Right.
should kill them.
Because,
It's taking, trees are taking everything in right now. Okay, on Ed's question there, the road being narrowed and the crown being made more steep by the rock quarry.
right. It's 28 foot shoulder to shoulder.
And that's, what was
What was it? Oh, it was much wider.
it? How wide is the new road we just did right there? They're coming off of shoulder to shoulder, the new.
Well, we ground out to the shoulder. We didn't, it was 30,
Is it,
32 perhaps. But we ground, you know, we made the base stabilization all the way out.
right? So it's 4 or 5 foot narrower once you get off that to go to the quarry. So that makes half mile than what you're coming off of
Correct.
and steeper pitched. Because the road's pretty flat. I had somebody else, I talked to you about that.
Right.
Raise this question, is there, what do you see as, remedying this? What do you think is gonna help it get better or? Plan?
Well, time, this may sound like a trivial matter, but right now we don't have any vegetation on the fore slope. So you can see the fore slope. Once we get some vegetation established, it'll still be that steep, but the appearance will be different. You know, it used to be wider, certainly, but it was a challenge to maintain. It was too flat. It was prone to develop potholes. And it's not a stabilized grade yet. You know, that'll be at some future time. We do anticipate that's part of what this farm to market stuff is going to accomplish. But it will push out over time. We don't have, there's a lot of traffic there, but I don't see a lot of, I mean, I drove yesterday. On there last week too, when they were doing roll and including the stretch between, well, north of what was worked with the project and the port. So 28 feet is suitably wide. It doesn't look wide, but it's, no, we're not going to pass. We're not going to pass two big combines, but we'll have trouble doing that anyway. In the system.
Big rock trucks meeting each other. They might not be as wide, but they're
Right.
two semis meeting each other takes quite a bit of road. So. Well, that's something I don't think he might not have seen is coming with the plan here to connect the two.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe go talk about that now, I guess. That's all I was wondering. That's all I was wondering. What do you guys think, you know?
Do you have any questions? Couple of quickies. When do you expect delivery of the second pipe on Teak? Do we have a date?
I don't have a date yet, but they're instead of waiting on a tank car to come in, they have some big plate steel.
Okay.
They're gonna bend and weld. So 2-3 weeks out of the anticipate.
Okay, that's fair. And then,
That's kind of a guess on my
yeah,
part.
ballpark, that's fine. And then,
Yet this fall.
okay, yeah, that was all I didn't know it was gonna sit there all winter that way. Hopefully not. What about, the maintenance and safety workshops? How many people we send into each, you know? Yeah, 4 or 5, okay, thank you. That's all I have.
On the box car there by College Springs going in, When do you think, is that this fall or not, do you think? I got asked about that the other day. Don't think it'll be this fall now.
I don't have a good handle on where it's gonna get.
When those are coming, or? I thought those already came in. Those, we don't have the rail cars, or you just ordered them?
I have one on site.
Yep.
So I suspect I should apologize here. This looks very similar to the one I brought to the board last week. And I did wonder to myself, of course, Mom always makes fun of that, who else are you gonna wander to? In my mind, whether this was a little premature or too fast, because I had queried a couple of members of the Farm to Market Review Board, and I hadn't heard anything back. So the application you have, did I put the wrong number in? This is supposed to be 45. I want to get rid of this 44.
This is the new one.
So,
So we'll need another document.
yes,
Okay. Well, you know, job security.
anyway, if you look at the map of Teak Avenue, the south, you'll notice in addition, there's a 1.5 miles of red line. That's removed, that's currently a piece of part of the market route. If we would leave it, it'd be a 1.5 miles square that I have for the market route on all 4 sides. Because I got this 1.5 mile gap on Teak, which was area service or a local road that were changed into a farm to market route, a proposed farm to market route. But we can substitute, we can take the 300 and turn it into Teak Avenue, and it makes better sense from a network standpoint. So that's what the new resolution is, except the piece of paper is flawed here. However, based on the agenda, I think I can get the new paper over here while you're still in session. But we do need a resolution to rescind number 44 and adopt number 45.
Anyone want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 44-2021,
Be rescinded.
the rescinded.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Armstrong, second by Holmes. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, very good.
I'll now make a motion to approve resolution 45-2021.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion again by Armstrong, second by Holmes to approve 45-2021 with the as presented. Any other discussion?
Just for anybody that doesn't understand, I wasn't here last week, this is making that stretch road we were just talking about, farm to market, which will make it available for money
Yes.
to possibly someday hard surface that,
Correct.
is the whole point of this.
Yes.
So I just want to say that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, we have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, okay. Thank you, JD.
Thank you.
Oh, I did have one other question. I'm sorry, going back to Lisa Nelson on this. It's the Iowa County Engineers Office Organization. Okay, thank you. All right, we're running a little bit behind the time schedule, but we have up next, discuss and approve the record retention policy that Melissa sent out. Melissa, if you come forward and kind of walk us through this, please.
Yeah, so this is pretty standard. We just based it, the majority of things are covered already in the Iowa County Records Retention Manual. There are a few things that weren't, or that we had kind of had our own policy, but nothing official. So this is just making all of them official, and then basically giving us the ability at certain points then to be able to get rid of records and when they meet the requirements. So we don't keep things longer than we need to. And then on some things, we have found that we needed to keep things a little bit longer. So this is basically just setting that policy in place. We did go through things with ISAC as well as the county attorney, and just have him and ISAC double check everything. So it's just basically putting a lot of those things into place.
So are most of these records that we keep now electronic?
We are moving to that, and with the digitization, that's going to help with some of that. And then as well, we also have document locator as well downstairs now. So we are moving more to the electronic on a lot of things. And some of these we can put on demand too. So from the solution standpoint, we can put a lot of those on demand as well.
Okay.
But this is just basically allowing us on some things and the ability to get rid of them after they, hit that time period where they no longer have to be retained.
Thank you. So we had this sent out last week to review. Any other questions? If not, I'd like to have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion
I'll second it.
to approve the record retention policy.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Holmes, second by Armstrong. Any other discussion? Thanks. I know this is part of ISAC. Thanks for spending time putting this together and updating it. So we're up to snuff.
Yep.
So
Thank you.
Okay, vote. Let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, great. Okay, get this signed. I think you just require one signature today on that one. All right, discuss and approve final language for ATV, UTV summary publication. We talked quite a bit about this last week. There's been some side discussions among different parties here, especially with Lyle and with Brenda and with county attorney. Brenda, I think you wanted to come up because the resolution or the ordinance as it came out, the sticking point was the language that we have in the proposed ordinance right now is to ask those who are exempt to come in and register for a free sticker, so it's easier for law enforcement. Brenda has, I think, a really great suggestion. So if you could walk us through that, please.
Well, last week, we did have the interest in the crowd that wants the county to move forward with this ordinance. I briefly touched base on what it entails for the farmers. Right now, they're exempt from those fees. And I kind of touched base on that. And with this going back and forth, I kind of like to recommend that it is in the code that ATVs and RVs used exclusively for ag purposes, they don't need to register them. So my suggestion to us is that the ones that want to just strictly use them for ag purposes, that they don't need to come in and register them and get a permit. But the ones that are interested, that want to, I guess you might say, have additional privileges or whatever you want to call it, that would ride them on secondary roads, could come in, register them, and purchase a permit from Page County to do that. So that's what my recommendation was. The ones that don't have any interest on going to any additional secondary roads, stay the same as it's been, but the ones that have some interest that say, hey, well, yeah, I think I want to expand my options here and go on other county roads, and then come in and register it and then get the permit.
And they would pay the regular fees.
Yes.
Now, what about if a farmer wanted to register his for law enforcement safety purposes? Can he do that for free?
They will have to register them with the state.
Okay,
And
and then they
then-
have to pay the fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that's a privilege, I guess, if you decide you want to do that. I mean,
To me, in talking it through, Brenda, it does make a lot
Yeah.
of sense. And from a law enforcement standpoint, if they don't see a sticker, then they know that it's ag use. And if they, as deputies know everybody in the country anyway, if they know if Joe Blow is not on his land, he doesn't have a sticker, that they have a need to stop.
Yeah.
and I've been talking to some other recorders this morning and some vendors to purchase these stickers, decals. Some of the recorders have different sizes, but I'm thinking the size that we would go with is a 3x5. I just need to speak with Lyle to see, the question was, does he need those to be reflective? Does he want those decals to be reflective? You know, some recorders go with what the DNR has, like right now, the new ones coming up are like a lime green. Some kind of come close to their colors and use those as the ordinance. Some do a totally different color. So I need to speak with Lyle and see what he wants to have visible with that. And this way, you know, they'll be able to see that. So the ones that have purchased and are saying they want to ride on the secondary roads, they'll see that decal. Otherwise, if there's no decal, then they know they're for farm, exclusive for farm.
If they want to use their ATVUD for non-ag purposes, then they need to come in and
Right.
register like anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, it makes sense. On the insurance side of it, I don't have my reprinted, or the
Oh,
one that, I have the old one. Could we change that wording to be like, we're just proof of insurance now, or what?
Yes, it's supposed to be. Let me make sure.
I've got another county here, how they word it.
Let's see. Yeah.
It says with liability insurance.
Shall carry proof of insurance on board at all times of operation.
Yeah, and it says, shall be required to provide proof of ownership, including but not limited to title, state registration. And we removed from that original Mills County, the limits.
Ringgold has something similar to what we're trying to change it to, just a proof.
Proof of insurance. Most cards just say it meets Iowa minimum standards.
So I'll just make sure that VIN number matches the machine they're trying to register with us.
So the proposed, for those in the audience, using Brenda's logic here, the change on section 6 of the ordinance exempt vehicles and operators, it would now read, the ordinance does not apply to any exemption under the Iowa Code for ATVs and UTVs operated pursuant to Iowa Code section 3211.9, government farm implements, or Iowa Code 321-2234A, incidental to and used for ag purposes, government, public utilities, licensed engineers and licensed surveyors. They're all currently exempt. And Iowa Code section 352.2 and 351.14.3B farm operations. So the new language would then be added. However, owners with exemptions may earn recreational privileges by registering their vehicle at the county recorder's office and paying the applicable registration fees.
I like
That
that.
sounds good. On the new one where it says license, so we just change it to valid driver's license.
Yes.
Okay. I looked at it,
Yeah,
I never.
there's the new one. And I'm
The other
sorry,
area, I can't remember where we.
or the revised one, that's
Without
probably
a valid driver's
documents. Don't get everything transferred.
Yeah, no, that's, I think that's, is there any other issues? The 35 mile an hour was put in there.
I believe so.
Which is what the state says.
Yeah. So what what the requirements are for us to move forward on this, we did set a public hearing date of the 26th. We have a summary statement that we're not going to publish the whole thing. We're going to publish a summary statement, and the whole ordinance will be available, whole proposed ordinance will be available on our website, or if somebody wants to come to the auditor's office and pick up a copy, they can do that. And then we'd have a public hearing on the 26th for first reading, and then it would go into early November if approved for the second and or third reading. We could waive the third reading on November 2nd. And actually, that we probably need to see, and we'll be talking about that later, if we'll be even meeting that day. It's election year. Typically, we don't meet.
No.
So we might need to meet on Monday or Wednesday or something. Just to get this thing moving so that Brenda, if it is approved, so Brenda can get
That way
her
she
stickers.
can-
We can implement it first of the year. All right, do I have a motion to publish the summary?
I'll make a motion to approve the summary publication, final language for the TV ordinance.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Armstrong, second by Holmes. Any other discussion? Just like to take a moment to thank everybody for their work. You know, this has been a process, and it's taken us longer than I hoped, but I think we've come out with a good proposal, and thanks to the sheriff, thanks to the reporter, and all involved for helping us work through this.
John, did that answer all your questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, motion carries.
You'll make the change and
Yeah, I'll make that change, and then I'll get you the original copy. I'll get Corey a copy, and if we could have it up tomorrow sometime, that would be great. I know we'll send the publication to the newspapers. It'll be published in the window for the public hearing at 9 a.m. on the 26th. Okay, board communication. Anything? I don't have any. Nothing?
I don't have anything coming up,
Okay.
this week.
You may notice there's some activity outside the courthouse. Martinsworth Group is here with their drone today to begin the process of getting, in the absence of the drawings. I'd kind of like to go watch it a little bit. They're able to replicate architectural drawings off this fancy drone that they got out of their office in St. Louis. So that will begin the process of the windows. Have a meeting at noon here. DCAT meets, the Free County DCAT meets at noon. 1 o'clock, we're going to have a little records talk with the recorder and the county attorney and the assessor. We're getting a lot of requests for records, and now we're in the digitization process and fees and expenses. So we want to make sure that we're doing that correctly. Then at 2 o'clock, we have a wellness committee meeting today. And so, JD, did you have something?
I have a properly
Oh,
noted resolution 45.
okay.
You acted on earlier in the meeting. If you could,
Take the improper one.
right, take the improper one out and sign all the board.
So we have 2 copies that each need to be signed, one for you and one for. We have 3 copies.
Well, everybody has a copy. I need one of them
Oh, I
signed.
got it. Here you go. Oh, sorry.
those two you can sign.
Now, on the solar ordinance, right now, I'm reading through and we're gathering stuff. When does that come back up?
26, I think, is when we'll have another discussion, if everybody's okay, have enough time to read through. Get their,
Thinking about that.
get their brains wrapped around it.
I'll look at it.
Okay. Awesome.
It said 47.
So, okay, Gary, this is probably why I don't.
Oh, the only other question I had in board communication, the stakeholder dinner invitation on October 20th. Florida Economic Development, I think everybody indicated they kind of wanted to go. Are we still, because we would ask the auditor's office to post and send out a note. I haven't RSVP'd yet. If you guys,
I
What is
have-
the date on that?
I think,
Yeah, today, the 15th, by Friday, and it's next Wednesday.
yeah, next Wednesday is the 20th. So chicken or chops. So, okay, and so can you put that, Christie, you need a written note or something in the agenda to post?
Yeah, possible.
And I didn't feel
The attendance.
All right. So do we have a motion to approve the minutes from October 5th?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Armstrong, second by Holmes to approve the October 5th minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Okay. We appreciate Ed, you coming. Thanks for coming, everybody.